What's up, Facebook? Joe here, and I want to talk to you today about your language, right? When we were growing up, we were always taught, "What's your language?" Right? Don't curse, don't, take the Lord's name in vain, be nice to people, this and that. But we were being taught about the language of politeness, not the language of a creator, of somebody who creates the life they want, who gets the life they want, who gets the love they want. So I want to talk to you today about language and the use of creative language rather than the use of destructive language. And I'm going to ask you just for today to pay attention to your language. Let me break it down for you, right? So a lot of the times we have a choice in this world. In fact, daily, especially in business and in our interpersonal relationships, and sometimes our relationship with ourselves, we have a hard choice all the time, which is to choose courage over comfort. Now, a lot of the time, that means like speaking up when you think something isn't right. That means addressing a conflict or an issue or a challenge in your primary relationships, in your business relationships, in your partnerships. But it doesn't necessarily mean that your job in being courageous over comfortable is to be confrontational or to lean into create conflict. In fact, it's the opposite. I want you to think of courage being collaborative and generative rather than confrontational or creation of conflict. So a creator uses creative language, a consumer uses destructive language. I want to paint the picture for you here with a client of mine. So a lot of us have been conditioned, especially men, to use warlike language, to use language of battles and fights and bracing for the hit all the time when it comes to our metaphors for how we see life. Now, there is power in building our healthy warrior energy and knowing when to step in, cut cleanly, to be bold, to be courageous, to actually be willing to get into struggle, challenge, conflict, or fight to create something powerful, to stand up for what we believe and what we want. But most of the time, we don't necessarily need a destructive warrior type of language. Right? So I'm working with a client, and he's growing in tremendous ways. He's really learning to speak up for himself with his wife and to speak up for himself at work. Now, he's with a wife that he's been with for about 13 years. They have 3 kids. They have a good life and a good relationship for the most part, but he finds he's gotten into this pattern over the last few years, especially since they had kids, of just biting his tongue, not speaking up, because there's already so much stress and strain in just living a life and raising children in this world that he doesn't want to create more conflict. He doesn't want to feel like he's nagging on little things. But now he's in this position where he feels like he never speaks up for himself. He never challenges his wife, and therefore they've created disconnection because he's not speaking his truth. Whether she knows or not, she feels it, and they're not as connected. So we're working on him actually stepping into bold conversation, more courageous conversations. And at work too, same thing. He's in a leadership position. He got promoted last year. He got heralded. He got great reviews for doing really well and making a big impact. But he also finds that at times he struggles to know exactly what to say in the moments where he disagrees with someone. And so he finds himself feeling an erosion of his own trust with himself. He finds erosion of his personal power. And we're working on him stepping into those challenging conversations to choose courage over comfort. And he told me about these situations with his wife and also with his boss and some of the other leaders in his department, where he's learned this amazing strategy, where he's actually learned to say, I don't agree with that, but I want some time to think about how to communicate clearly. And when he's sharing this with me, he keeps talking about, I've realized that when I go into challenging conversations, when I'm choosing courage over comfort, that I need to have better armor, right? I need to have more ammunition. And what he means by ammunition is he needs to be able to more clearly state his case. And he's using all this language of getting into a fight and stepping into battle and having the right weapons. And so I challenged him, I confronted him in a courageous and constructive way. And I said, I noticed that you're using a lot of language where you talk about ammunition and weapons and battle and win-loss. And I want you to actually use different language. I want you to catch your language. I want you to actually realize that courageous conversation, stepping into courage, stepping into boldness, it's not about war or destruction, and it's actually not about winning. You don't need to be right or wrong to be courageous. You don't need to win the argument. You don't need to create a battle. It's not me versus them. It's not us versus them. It's you co-creating with your employees, with the other leaders in your department, with your boss, with your wife, with your kids. You're on the same side. You're on the same team. So I want you to actually focus on your language. And then we had a long talk about how we program our unconscious mind, we program our body based on the language that we use. The content we consume, what we listen to, what we read, what we watch, and the language that we use, that actually programs our body and programs our subconscious mind. Our language influences our reality in a huge way. So of course, if you use the language like, I need more ammunition, I need better armor, I need to win this battle, when you step into it, you're going to be more confrontational, you're going to be edgier, you're going to have fear in your body and in your subconscious mind, in the back of your mind, and you're not going to be able to listen as well. You're not going to be as bold because you're going to be bracing for the hit, the fight. And you're going to psych yourself out of a lot of moments that could be really easy for you to step into courage and make your life better. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at any ways that you approach challenging moments with yourself or with others, and you find yourself using war-like language, fight-like language. So instead of, I got to force myself to eat better and go to the gym, how about I got to love myself enough to do the hard thing and move my body and eat in a way that helps me feel good. And it's simply a matter of accepting the love that I have for myself. Or how about I have to learn to motivate myself. I have to learn to actually engage in some sort of way of making my diet and exercise fun. Okay? How about when it comes to having a conversation with a partner, with a wife, with a boyfriend, with a girlfriend, instead of, okay, I gotta armor up, I gotta find my bullet points, I gotta state my case, I gotta have my ammunition ready to prove I'm right. How about there's no right or wrong? I actually want to go into this conversation and learn more about my partner and help them understand what's been challenging for me or what I don't like about what's going on. How about it's about creating more clarity? Right? So instead of saying that you need more time and then coming up with your ammunition, how about I'm actually simply needing time to create connection with myself and clarity so I can bring my best to this conversation. So watch your language around destruction, fight, battle, war. Choose language of creation, of collaboration. Choose language of love. And you will actually be able to step into harder moments in your life with more courage, more open-heartedness, more efficacy, and more creativity. Because if you're programming your mind for fight or flight in your body, you're only ever going to show up trying to move fast, force your way through, not really truly listen to others. You're going to feel it, and they're going to feel it. So that's what I got for you today. I hope this is helpful. Pay attention to your language. Our language creates our reality. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace.